Today on the Travel Magazine.
Alive and kicking since 1859. Welcome to Virginia City.
We'll ride through the liveliest ghost town in the West and head down the mines that made it the silver bonanza of the 19th century. Then, we'll get a taste of Reno. The biggest little city in the world lights up at night, and plenty of the shows are free, too. And we'll try out the pro lanes at the National Bowling Stadium.
My name is Betty Morris, bowler of the decade for the 1970s. We're here at the National Bowling Stadium. Welcome, Travel Magazine, to Reno, Nevada. We're in the biggest little city in the world. Hello, I'm Sandra Neal, and welcome to this edition of the Travel Magazine in Reno, Nevada. When Reno acquired that slogan back in the 1920s, it was already a town where anything goes. It was a place run by families who owned casinos long before Las Vegas existed.
Reno is located near the California-Nevada border, about 750 kilometers from Las Vegas. As you leave Reno and head away from the Sierra Nevada mountains, you'll be in Virginia City in half an hour. Today, a ghost town, you can still find reflections of its vibrant history and the boomtown days when miners struck it rich in silver back in 1859. It was a city of contrasts, from the sounds of the honky-tonk piano in the saloons to the stately churches with their Victorian architecture, and the mansions of silver barons, now turned into museums.
Bill, Virginia City really put this part of Nevada on the map, and it's all because way back in, was it in the 1860s that they discovered the Comstock
1859, they discovered silver up here.
And it was a big mother lode.
This was the biggest one in the whole world, a record that still stands today.
We're walking along what was the main street even back then. We've got the wobbly boardwalk because it is a hilly city, and this was a booming town.
Yeah, this was probably close to 30,000 people here at one time. You can see all of these original buildings. Most of these date to about 1876.
Of course, right now it's a ghost town, and it has been for many years because did the silver just dry up?
Probably around 1880, the mining took a very sharp decline. Some sporadic mining existed up here until World War II, and that was pretty much the end of it. But by 1880, that was pretty much the end of the whole thing.
Right underneath us are the shafts, is that correct?
That's correct. Shafts, tunnels, 750 miles of them. 500 million board feet of lumber under here.
So they snake all around the city. But what we still have are these facades that have been restored, and in essence, this is what the town looked like back in...
This is basically what this town looked like 125 years ago.
So,
not all of the buildings are still here today, but you can certainly get the flavor of Virginia City.
There's so many variety of stores. We have the suicide table, the rock shop, some really interesting establishments.
It's fascinating. Every door opens up a whole new vista.
One miner back in the 1850s dubbed Virginia City the drinkin'est town in the West. A town where anything goes, and where today you can buy just about anything. Even journalist Sam Clemens once walked the wobbly planks on Main Street. Back then he wasn't Mark Twain, but a cub reporter of the town newspaper.
Bill, here at the Collar Mine, it says 1861. Was this the biggest producing mine in Virginia City? It had the most silver here?
Well, Sandra, it wasn't the biggest producer, but it was certainly one of the top producers. This was the fifth largest, and ultimately produced about $18 million in gold and silver.
How many years was it in operation?
Most of these mines lasted right around 20 years. That was the extent of their lifespan. And although a lot of activity continued here well past 1880 because they didn't really know the extent of the lode, so a lot of exploration was done after that.
And of course, who knows what's way, way, way below, but it's too hard to get to.
It would be very cost prohibitive to go down that far. We're down over 3,000 feet here now, and it gets really expensive below that depth.
And I know still to this day they haven't found a mother lode of silver like this before.
No, this is certainly the largest ore body of silver ever discovered on Earth, and that record stands today. Isn't that something?
It's amazing. The Collar Mine, of course, for tourists only, and we can now walk right in?
Go right ahead. I'll follow you in.
Bill, is it true initially they didn't know what this blue stuff was? They didn't realize it was silver?
Yeah, that's correct, Sandra. This heavy blue mud was a miserable stuff to try to work with. It clogged up their rocker boxes, their sluice boxes, and they had a great degree of difficulty trying to extract gold out of this, and they didn't know what it was.
And of course they had so much silver. I see some sparkles. Was that an indication of where the silver deposits were?
Exactly. The iron pyrite occurs with the native gold and the native silver, so when they started to see some sparkling in there, that was always a good indication that there may be an ore body worth working.
And they used hand picks at this point in the mine?
Right. When you get up to this point, if you have to blast any of this out, they'd use a single jack like this or one of the big air drills and drill their boreholes into the side, load them with dynamite, and blast it out.
Talk about labor intensive, and of course we've got the benefit of electricity to see all these things, but did they really work by candlelight?
They did, Sandra, and I'll show you.
It takes a while for your eyes to get used to it.
Yes, it does.
Would have been tough to be a 6-foot miner, back-breaking work, and working by candlelight.
And this is all the light they had, so they'd stick the candle in right next to where they were working on the face, and that was all the light that they were ever afforded when they were working in these mines.
Unlike Virginia City, which basically dried up when the mines did, Reno was able to survive because of the railroad, agriculture, and of course, gambling. But you can still find the flavor of mining in one of the biggest hotel casinos in the city.
They say a deck of cards went alongside a miner's pick back in the Comstock days. But the cards have long outlasted the mines and made Reno what it is today.
Gary, the city of Reno was built in the late 1860s because of all the mining communities around it. And it's not very often that you see a huge mining head frame in the middle of a hotel casino. How did that come about?
There were 5 silver barons that found their riches in Virginia City. Well, the 6th silver baron, the mystical Sam Fairchild, this is where his mine is. And behind it you can see the 120-foot mining rig that actually mines the ore out of the ground, takes it through the various processes of the smelting, all the way through the process to minting coins. And we can see over here, we have a coin minter that actually mints the coins that was come out of the ground, the ore that's come out of the ground, to mint the coins that we actually use in our slot machines downstairs to people to play slots and win money that's actually made here, our own mint, right at Silver Legacy. With Sam Fairchild and the wealth of things that he's brought to our property, I think that it just brings that little bit different piece of history to gaming, other than just your normal casino with slot machines and restaurants and 21 tables. We have something a little bit different that we're very proud of. And the nice thing about Reno, situated in this little valley here with the beautiful Sierra Mountains right behind us, is that we're so centrally located. If we want the experience of a big city, we're a half hour from San Francisco, an hour away from Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, Phoenix, Las Vegas is 45 minutes away in an airplane. So we have the opportunity to travel and to get that big city fix, but we're half hour in our car away from Lake Tahoe, the most beautiful mountain lake, pristine, clear waters in the world. That's what was so nice about living in Reno. We get all the experiences that you ever want to have in a town that is less than 500,000 people. It's still small, but we have our own big city feeling also in many ways.
Hence the biggest little city
Biggest little city in the world. Isn't that, I mean, we ought to be proud of that, and I hope we never lose that, because it is a neat slogan and a neat feeling.
When we come back, it's time for a little Reno nightlife.
Still ahead on the Travel Magazine, taking bowling to another level at the massive National Bowling Stadium in Reno, where I'll be taking a lesson from a Hall of Famers, so stay with us.
We'll follow the neon lights to the city's hot spots and catch some other acts that also light up the sky. Then double down at the casino. He's betting you'll be back.
You looking at me? Is that one of them moving cameras? I suppose that means I gotta move, huh? Well, how would you like it if I pointed, nah, I'm in a good mood. I think I'll let you go.
Welcome back to the Travel Magazine as we continue our tour of Reno, Nevada. Not far from the glittering strip is an entertainment center that attracts champions from around the world.
Slot machines are everywhere in Reno, but there's another place to exercise your arm muscles here at the National Bowling Stadium. This is the Taj Mahal of kingpins, and you're not going to believe how colossal this place is. I used to think living in a small town that we had the advantage when it came to bowling, but Reno's bowling stadium certainly blows that theory out of the water. They have 80 championship lanes, which means 2,360 pins, 500 bowling balls. And you know, the best part about it for me? New bowling shoes. They have 300 pairs of them. So now we're going to go behind the scenes and take a look at this colossal stadium and chat with one of the most famous women championship bowlers in America.
Here at the National Bowling Stadium, our facility is state-of-the-art. The pin setters are a GS92 made by Brunswick, and they are state-of-the-art and computerized. As soon as your ball gets to the pins, the sweep comes down automatically by a pin sensing system. The pin setter comes down to detect to see if there's any pins left. Pins are picked up by the pin table, and then the sweep sweeps all the dead wood or the pins that have been knocked down away. Just in case you get that strike, the pin setter comes down, detects no pins that are left standing, and automatically says, I've got to put down 10 more pins. At that point in time, that's what it does. The ball return system sends back the ball at 30 miles per hour. So the entire cycle takes about 10 to 15 seconds. After that, you're ready to bowl again.
I'm with Betty Morris, championship bowler of the 70s, the bowler of the decade. And what's so exciting for me, Betty, to be here is that I am an extreme amateur when it comes to bowling, but this gives me an opportunity to bowl where the pros bowl.
Yes, it does. The National Bowling Stadium is home to many professional tournaments, as well as the WIBC and the ABC championship tournaments every year.
This is such a colossal facility. Can you give me an example of seating capacity and how high-tech it really is?
Well, our video wall is the world's longest video wall. It stretches from lane 1 all the way to lane 78. We also have the computer system that keeps your score. You never have to worry about keeping your score at the National Bowling Stadium, and you can see it on the video wall above the lane.
Well, this is an amazing opportunity for me to spend a little bit of time with the professional. I would love to get some advice so I can get rid of that awful hook.
Well, I'd be happy to help you.
Thank you. Betty, I've got my brand new bowling shoes, so now I just need a ball, and I usually bowl with a 6-pounder. What do you think about that?
A 6-pounder basically is for young children, and usually the holes in those are drilled very small, so you may not be able, they may not fit your hand, although you have small hands. A lot of women make the mistake of thinking they need a really light bowling ball, when in fact, if you had one that really fit your hand, due to the fact that what you want is a free pendulum swing, you would be able to go with a heavier ball. But for today, we're going to start you out with this 8-pounder.
Okay, so basically, I've been bowling with a kiddie ball for the last year. That's all right. A little embarrassing, but let's try an 8-pounder. Now, to be honest with you, I think I might be a tiny bit intimidated in one of these 80 lanes because there's some heavy-duty bowlers getting ready for a championship.
That's no problem, because we have lane 81 that's in our pro shop that's used for instructional purposes, and I think you might enjoy it.
Let's see if we can get rid of my hook.
All right, let's go. one.
Betty, you make it look so easy. Now, before I start, I've got some things to enhance my bowling. I've got some tape for my fingers and some smooth slide for my shoes.
Well, all those things are good, but basically you need the basic fundamentals.
Okay.
Before you can utilize anything, and there are a lot of good products, but the thing you need is to remember in bowling, you want to get 4 easy steps. It's kind of like dancing, and you want to get a good rhythm and a good timing while you're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 4th step is your slide step. Then you want to have the ball swing.
I guess you can't really tell me what to correct until you see me bowl.
I want you to keep your shoulders straight at the line, and want you to imagine that you have an arrow off of your right shoulder that is facing directly ahead at your target, which we've picked out between the 2nd and the 3rd arrow for your target, and I want
To the
you
right of the
center arrow.
Okay.
And I want you to just try to imagine this arrow so that that keeps your shoulder square at the line.
Okay.
Very good. Yes, yes. Oh, yes.
Whoa.
Oh, all right.
Wow,
Good shot.
I can really feel myself getting better just with
You're
those tips.
improving.
Thank you so much
You're
for
very
your help.
welcome.
I'm going to be able to go back to my
right.
hometown and I think turn some heads.
When we come back, getting hungry? We'll taste what's cooking at Reno's top restaurants. Then, catch a high wire act under the big top. Try our hand at the casinos. We'll roll the dice and get some advice from the gambler.
The millions of lights on the neon signs and the thousands of pounds of food in the city that never sleeps will bring you the nightlife of Reno when the Travel Magazine returns.
Welcome back to the Travel Magazine in Reno, Nevada.
Reno's neon world never shuts down. We're talking over 2 million light bulbs, 100,000 slot machines, 50,000 hotel rooms, 500 limousines, and non-stop food.
The biggest little city in the world is also a place to indulge any food cravings you might have. Whether it's pretty basic, like your hot dog and beverage combination, or gourmet meals, anything from Chateaubriand at midnight.
And to one of my favorites, sushi.
Asian, Mexican, it's all served in large quantities and repeat trips to the buffet lines. Reno certainly also means non-stop food.
And when it comes to fine dining, there's everything from Basque restaurants to Northern Italian cuisine.
But make sure to leave some room for dessert. Of course, to get to all that food and back to your hotel room, you have to pass all those slot machines.
I don't seem to have any luck at the slot machines, and they're really the elementary form of gambling. After that, there's poker, blackjack, keno, the craps tables. I certainly don't know anything about those forms of gambling, but, you know, there's a living legend here in Reno, and he's going to show us how it's done.
Attention all security staff. He's here. He's arrived.
I got spurs that jingle, jingle, jingle as I go riding merrily along. And they sing, oh, ain't you glad you're single? And that song ain't so very far from wrong.
Who's that man?
Who's that man?
I think that's Double Down Dan.
I think that's the man with the tan.
No, honey, that's Double Down Dan.
Oh my God, it's Double Down Dan!
There's one thing hotter than the hot Nevada sun, and that's Double Down Dan.
He's got world-class technique. No wonder the ladies love him. He never loses his cool. And does he know how to party?
You're Double Down Dan.
He's the gambling man.
That's who I am.
Reno's not just about fun and games. The nightlife includes world-class shows, ranging from Spirit of the Dance, a display of expert Irish footwork a la Reno, to dozens of cabaret shows.
To the Midway at Circus Circus. You can see 24 acts a day here, many from the Moscow Circus. And of course, you can win the biggest prize in the Midway, this Cobra. All you need to do is put this little round rubber gadget into one of those soda bottles. Sounds a lot easier than it is.
There's everything you'd find in a carnival Midway, and there's fun and games for the whole family. Plus, there are circus acts going on late into the night. You have to move pretty quickly to take it all in.
I got a lobster. I am loving this Midway. It's open year-round. I seem to win prizes no matter what game I try. The only thing is, I'm going to have to try and figure out a way how to get all of this home. I hope you've enjoyed our tour of Reno. You certainly can't mistake what the city is known for. There are casinos and slot machines everywhere. But Reno's roots began in mining, and the coolest little ghost town I've been to, Virginia City. For the Travel Magazine, I'm Sandra Neal. Join us again as we travel the world.
Miss Kitty, I want to talk to you.
What do you want?
You ain't giving me my share of the money.
Well, look, I gotta have something for myself.
Listen, you know I own every saloon in town, and you're supposed to give me 80%. You ain't giving me my share.
Well, you might own every saloon in town, but you're one of the crookedest marshals I ever saw.
I told you not to say that about me.
You know, I wonder if the Undertaker can make a crooked in a box to fit your crooked body in.
That's it. What do you want? Mind your own business.
She works for us.
Yeah. Yeah?
It is our
I've never
business.
seen you in this town before.
Yeah, now.
Well, you better get out now.
You get.
Well, then we're going to settle things right now. Fill your hands. I told them to get out of town. They should have listened.